What's happening?
I'm doing jazz hands and you do the invite.
Oh, I'm doing the invite. Oh, we're doing it to camera. Please, guys, come and see our movie. We'd love to have you there, and hopefully you like it.
This weapon can wipe out the largest city in the blink of an eye.
Not if we shut it down.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Nice to meet you too. Could you please check about a little bit about your characters?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Shall I take it away?
You should take it away.
Well, I played Tom Natsworthy, who's an apprentice historian in the London Museum. And the purpose of the London Museum is to try to salvage as many historical artifacts from the world that's essentially been destroyed, so as to have some semblance of history, to have some sort of narrative of history. But the problem with that, and that's my job, because so when London, the giant predator city that I live on in the film, digests a smaller town, my character's job is to try to salvage and save old pieces of tech, like old appliances, toasters, etc., and just old stuff that could be from a different age. So he's all about trying to preserve the past. But London, because of its, essentially it runs on fossil fuel, it runs on furnaces. Basically, the people in the digestion yards of London are always just throwing these historical artifacts into the furnaces to power the engines of London, and so it's Tom's job to kind of prevent that from happening. And he's also a kind of a Poindextery little twit who has a workshop in the London Museum and spends all day in there tinkering and modifying old appliances and stuff. So that's who I play.
It's funny, I'm just thinking about when you're saying this, like, it sounds like your character lives a lot in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, Hester is maybe, I was like, she also lives a lot in the past because she has some traumatic past in her life, but with experiencing the murder of her mother. But what I'm thinking is, like, I think she may be, and that's why they sort of clash a bit in the beginning, she's actually in the future.
She's in the future, you're right.
Always thinking
she's working
about,
towards that.
have to get revenge, have to kill this man, and I don't care how it's going to happen, I don't care if I die doing it, I just need to finish that, get revenge for my mother, and then I'm out.
And that's the thing, they say living in the past or living in the future is a surefire way to end up cuckoo.
True, which they both kind of get. Well, she kind of comes from that world. They meet, in London. She's been living in the wilderness for a while and raised in the meantime by a resurrected man who's a mixture between a robot and a human being. So she's a funny one. Yeah.
After working so many years with Peter Jackson as a storyboard artist and on visual effects, what does directing this film represents for you?
Well, I've wanted to direct for a while, and I've sort of moved away from working in special effects and directed second unit. I sort of helped Peter on second unit for The Hobbit after Andy Serkis had left, and then did second unit on a few other films and directed my own short films. So it was a chance to sort of use all the skills that I'd learnt over 25 years and be the one in the director's chair.
And how was it for you to work with him now as your producer?
Well, it was fantastic. I mean, Peter he's very respectful of the director, the director's role, and so but he also understood that it was a big film for me as my first film. So he very much let me direct the way I wanted to direct, and but he was also there to sort of encourage me to make decisions not based on pressure and schedule and time, but make decisions that were best for the story and best for the film.
Your characters were physically challenged a lot of the time.
Yeah.
What that was supposed for you? Like, what kind of challenge as actors?
Most of it is I had to cower behind Hera. That was most of my physical challenge.
And you're quite tall, so it's hard to cower.
It's quite hard on the lower back sometimes, all the cowering.
Yeah, we had to run a lot, we had to climb a lot. I had to get a bit better at climbing up walls. That was good.
It was a very, very physical job. It was.
It was, yeah.
I was knackered at the end of some days.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah. There was lots of running.
Lots of
For
running, jumping.
action sequences where, you know, giant scavenger cities are in pursuit of us. You know, those things, those types of sequences took 3 or 4 or 5 days to film, and it's just constant running, climbing, falling, you know.
Oh my God, I think the hardest thing that I did once was actually, I had to look like I was, there was an airship, I'm not going to say too much, but I'm basically hanging off it, and so my body is like this in the air, you know what I mean, like straight. And my stunt double, she did it first, and she looked amazing doing it. She was just like, yeah, they're straight in the air, and I was like, wow, that's easy. Like, I'll go and do that. You're in a harness, like, easy, does the job. You get up there, it's like, you're basically in a plank in the air. Like, who can do that? She could, and was amazing at it, and you're just like, yeah.
For 12
trying
hours.
to, like, look good or, like, act.
For you, how was this process for creating this entirely new universe?
Well, the process of creating the world, luckily we already had the book. We had a lot of previs that had been done because Peter was originally going to direct these films himself nearly 8 or 9 years ago. And so we had some pre-visualization that had been done and some artwork. So we just had a good foundation to draw upon, and we just sort of, you know, we sort of picked what we liked and then we evolved it further. But really it was just a lot of time and a lot of work working with a great crew and a lot of talented artists.
60 minutes is all it took to bring humanity to the very brink of extinction.
Usually in this kind of huge fantastic worlds and with so much action, it's easy to lose the characters a little bit. How do you work with that?
It all comes down to the script. I mean, really, is that the books are a great story about these amazing characters, and it's set in the world of traction cities and this other civilization, but the whole story is about, you know, these characters, Tom and Hester, Thaddeus Valentine, Anna Fang, and they're such fantastic characters. Valentine's a fantastic villain, Hester's an amazing hero, Tom's a great hero as well, and Anna Fang's a fantastic sort of comrade. So it is a character-driven story, even though it's set in this huge sort of fictional science fiction sort of universe, this futuristic civilization.
How involved was Peter Jackson during the shooting of the film?
Well,
During the shooting,
kind of,
he was around Peter. He often cherry-picked certain scenes that I think he wanted to work on the second unit and direct. And then when we came back and we did a few reshoots, we did a couple of weeks of reshoots, Peter directed those. But I think Peter's creative input came through the development of the script more.
yeah.
And then, you know, Christian Rivers took the helm, took the reins.
And it's such a big beast, the film. I think, I think it became a point where help was needed, and Peter was up for it.
Yeah.
And, and he'd been carrying this baby since 2000 something when he got the rights to the books.
Yeah.
So it was, but the whole project was very kind of like everyone was working together. It felt really like a group kind of effort. So it wasn't like just, a one-man's job in a way. And
It was a sort of a collaborative effort from the top.
Being an adaptation, you have to deal with book fans. Does that affect somehow?
It doesn't affect when we're making the film. We make decisions that we think are going to best serve the film, and film is a different medium. I mean, books, everyone reads a book and they interpret it differently. They form their own imagination, their own image of what the story looks like. And we have to literalize that. We have to put it on screen, and then that becomes, solid as an image. So we wanted to, be respectful of the book and respectful to the fans, but we also understand that certain things have to be reinterpreted.
It's been told that you were looking for new faces to start this film. Why did you make that decision?
I think it's very important if you're trying to create a new world on screen that hopefully has a longevity. There are many more stories that Philip has written. This isn't just one book. There are many other books. and we want this to be a cinematic universe that people can go back and we can make other films. And so I think it's important for the characters to be iconic to this story in this world. And if you cast an actor who's already been very famous in another role, it sometimes can break that illusion for the audience that they are going to a real new place.
You sure you want to do this? Once we go in, there's no going back.
I have to.